First question I ask every player is, what was there an NBA player that inspired your game?
Weirdly enough, like not really. I mean, I grew up, I didn't watch the NBA a whole lot. My dad was a huge Maryland basketball fan. So, I mean, I grew up watching a lot of Maryland basketball. So I would say there's a player I grew up watching and really loving. I'd say it's a guy like Melo Trimble, if you remember Melo Trimble. Maryland legend right there. But
Great poll.
Yeah. NBA player-wise, I mean, I like KD a lot, DMV guy, biased towards the DMV guys. I love KD a lot, but I mean, I don't play like him. I'm not 7 foot. I'm not I'm not doing what KD's doing, so I can't say I replicate my game after him, but yeah, I would say Melo Trimble.
Sounds good. So it seems like your game is more your own kind of, you just learned along the way. It wasn't direct, which is always good to see. Now, the next question I have is, you played as a true freshman, which is an accomplishment in itself. With the minutes that you had, what have you gained from the experience?
Got to be ready. Got to be ready at all times. I mean, you just got to go in there and just flush everything you have out of like the system and just be aggressive and just play as hard as you can and just not overthink. Just don't think, just play aggressive. I mean, we've been working for this, like all year, all that stuff. I mean, I work out every day, all that stuff. So you get in that game, you just got to trust your training and just go out there, be aggressive, not think, and just play ball.
Now, the next thing I think is, it's still fresh in your brain, only having 1 year in college. What was the hardest transition from high school to college?
Like on the court wise, I would say fighting over ball screens, very specific. But oh my gosh, I struggled fighting over ball screens like all of last summer going into the fall. Like that was definitely one of the hardest things. So I'd probably say physicality on a more broad level for sure. Because I mean, in high school, I was a taller guard for sure. But I mean, everybody's big, strong. Everybody's out to hit you. Everybody's fighting for playing time. You're just not the most naturally talented or biggest guy on the court anymore. So, I mean, physicality, 100%.
Now, Coach Killings credited you for your work ethic. Where does that originate from?
I would say from my family. I would say my mom and dad have always had a very good work ethic. I've always looked up to them. There's a lot of nights I actually see my dad working on his computer until like 11, 12 p.m. And I always think like, man, like, I mean, it's just something I admire. And then also my older brother, he plays soccer at Stanford. So, I mean, I just, as a little brother, just watching him, how he moves about his business was something I really admired as well and something I really wanted to replicate. So the way he went about not just his sports, but how he goes about school, how he goes about talking to people, just almost all aspects of his life. It was something I really want to learn from. So I'd say, my family and of course my mom for sure. Just being the rock, just always, it's definitely.
Work ethic is just one of those things that you have to have from something. It just can't come just by itself. It has to have some kind of root cause. Now, speaking of the comments with Coach Killings, he said at some point last season you lost your confidence a bit, but gained it back. How did you gain that confidence back?
Just staying in the gym, just knowing, just realizing that, I mean, you're going to have bad days, bad weeks, maybe even bad months, but just, stick with your training, trust your training, trust that what you're doing is actually helping and working, and just keep believing that if you stay consistent, you're going to get over that hump eventually. So that's a big mindset. I mean, progressing is not a straight line. It's ups and downs. So, but as long as you keep going, it's going to start going up. So
a question everybody needs to know the answer here is, how tall are you? Because I don't understand it. Somehow you've grown inches in the off season. I don't know if you're wearing Timberlands at this point, and you're listed, I think, at 6'4".
I'm 6'2" without shoes, 6'3" with basketball shoes on.
All right, so the height's wrong. I had a feeling
they get my height wrong, my city wrong, and my grade wrong. So
I was very concerned. I don't know how you gain that many inches in the off season, but
so many people ask me that question. I'm like, where does 6'4" come from? Like, I didn't say that.
You're listed as 6'4", which I mean, you don't look much taller than me. and I'm 6'1", 6'2", so I was like, yeah, there's no way this guy's 6'4".
No.
I don't know. I don't know if you had to pay someone for that or what.
And I don't like when people give me the extra inch or anything like that.
You know, you being the 6'2", well, they say he's 6'4", but anyway, regardless, that kind of range is the most abundant height on the team. We've seen a lot of people in that range from 6'2" to 6'7". It seems like that's like I think there's 9 players in that range. Yeah. So how, you know, with it being so competitive, how do you stay in the race?
Just, you know, like outside of the court, you know, we're all brothers and all that stuff. But when it's on the court in practice, it's just you got to go after these guys. You know, these guys that are playing the same position as you, we're all fighting for minutes. So you have to make it a point of emphasis to absolutely attack them and be a dog.
Michael Kelly made a comment that in order for you to gain minutes, there has to be an upgrade in your defensive play from last season. What have you done to really work on your defensive game?
Working on my body, honestly. Just being more physical. I mean, I thought one thing I'm really good at is just staying in front of guys. But I mean, at this level, guys make 2, 3, 4 moves, and slowly but surely they'll get you down like towards the paint area. And I mean, and just that physicality of then they're that low, they could start bumping you with their shoulder, and then they're right at the rim. And I mean, these are good players, so they could finish contested little bunnies right over the rim. So I'd say just being quicker to getting my spots. And I think if I'm quicker at getting to my spots and being more physical, I could have people bounce off my chest rather than being vice versa. Would
you say that the road trip to Canada has shown that?
Yeah, I would say so, because I definitely made a point of emphasis when I was in Canada to try to be a lot more aggressive on defense. So, yeah.
Now, last question I have for you today is probably the most impressive thing. You've played 1 through 4 at 6'2". How are you so versatile?
It's more the mindset, honestly. Knowing just like, I mean, hold on, I have to think.
Yeah, take time.
Got him.
No, it is more like, it is definitely more of the mindset, but like, I'm just trying to figure out how to word this.
Common problem I have. That's why I always reset.
I mean, to me, it's just about, I mean, any opportunity to get on the floor is opportunity to get on the floor. I mean, I'll do whatever you guys, the coaches want me to do to help this team win. So, I mean, if you want me to play the floor, then I'll dig in and try to be as physical as I can. If you need me to set screens, make shots, I'll do that. But, I mean, I'm not a smaller guard. In the American East, at least, I'm not a small guard. So, I think I could handle it for sure. So,
yeah, I mean, we have 2 7-foot guards with Byron and Lindsay on the team. So it does show how your height, you know, sometimes you could switch positions around based on what, you know, we only have 15 people on this team.
Yeah.
You know, it's a small roster. So when injuries happen, it's really good to see how versatile you can be and just fill in the spot where you're going to be needed.
Yeah. And the other thing is, though, you're always going to have an advantage. If you're the smaller guy, you're probably going to be the more quicker guy. So you could probably, like, on defense at least, like, get under them and like really go at the ball and stuff like that. But if you're bigger, you have the advantage physically. So, I mean, if you look at it like that, I mean, you always have some sort of advantage no matter how tall you are. Just got to figure out how to take advantage of your advantages.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for your time for this interview, and I wish you nothing but success in the season.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.